So we use these oils, we breathe them in. So I'm going to show you real quick. So there are a couple of ways that I would highly suggest you using Trauma Life. And this can be for simple things like Jenna has talked about, my friend Jenna. There was a child on a playground that fell and had this injury in front of her kids, and they were traumatized by that. So that night she pulled out her Trauma Life and worked with them, and they don't even recall it in their memory as clearly as they were talking about it that day. So it can be something simple, or it can be something years of abuse or living in a home with an alcoholic and the effects that that has even on us as adults. So whatever your trauma is, this oil, it's a pleasant smell. I can smell the valerian, which isn't really my favorite, but the effects of valerian are calming and soothing to our nervous system. It's valerian root. You guys have probably seen it advertised that it helps us to sleep, to get into a deep, calming, restful place so that we can sleep. So I can smell it a little bit. So it's not really my favorite oil, but there are sweet notes to it. The rose in it probably. I also smell the black spruce. But here's some ways that I suggest using it. So Erin and I told you, we work on our own stuff. And so I have gotten Trauma Life, and I'll show you some of the ways that we've been using it. So 1 drop, and then you rub it around. I put it in my non-dominant hand, so I'm a righty, so I did it in my left hand, clockwise a few times, and just breathe it in. And you take deep breaths as you're breathing it in. Now this accesses your amygdala and your limbic system, and it releases those negative emotions. Okay, some of my favorite places to put oils like this are on my brainstem. So I'm going up on my brainstem. Another great place is behind your ears, and actually around the outside of your ears is a good place for that. Okay, if you hate the smell, hate, then that typically means that you have some emotions that it's bringing up for you, not consciously, that need to be dealt with. And the way that I suggest that you do that is that you drop it directly onto your feet and you rub your bottoms of your feet together, and then you pull socks on. So you didn't get it on your hands. You're not breathing it in directly, even though that's probably the most effective way. But for several days, if you put it on your feet and cover it up, then you're not having to smell it, and it's still getting into your bloodstream and having a profound effect on your body. You can see behind me that I have my diffuser going with Trauma Life in it. So that's another way. It fills the air, and then your family members can breathe that in, and you can all deal with the issues that are coming up. Because remember, this could just be a tough day at school, or maybe, you know, somebody wasn't kind to you, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be huge traumas. It can be our little things that we go through. But every experience we have gets stored in our body, and it has an effect on our cells and how the rest of our body functions, not just for now, but for the rest of our lives. So we really want to deal with stuff. So as we're dealing with this, a great way that I would do this is to breathe it in. And as I'm breathing it, I would just ask God to help me to release any of the traumas that need to be released, and to deal with the emotional issues so that I'm not stuffing and holding on to things that are affecting me. And so I believe that He is good, and that He will bring up those things either to my mind or just help my body to process it so that it can move on and I can move forward with my life. Okay, so wanting to use this on several of us in our house, and wanting to do it like the coupon queen that I used to be, I took 10 drops of Trauma Life and put it into a colored roller bottle that I got on Amazon. This is a 10 ml, And so I did 10 drops into my 10 ml, and then I filled the rest of it up with a carrier oil. So a carrier oil, if you can get it to where you guys can see it, this is jojoba oil. So any carrier, fractionated coconut is a liquid coconut oil, or you can do extra virgin olive oil, jojoba, sweet almond oil, whatever it is you prefer or whatever it is you have around your house. I wouldn't use like cooking oil unless it was extra virgin olive or coconut. So, and then the rest of the bottle, I fill it up with my liquid carrier oil, and I put a roller ball on the top of it. And then I have my roller ball that I can roll on our brain stems and around our ears and on our feet and wherever it is that we need to, so that as we go to sleep at night, that this can start to work and to help us deal with our issues. Now, again, exercise is key, and I'm not talking about counting football or baseball a competitive sport of your kids, because those kind of competitive things don't have the same effects on trauma. So calming things or something that they can get into a zone, running is good, dancing, martial arts, yoga is fantastic. And so something that's calming and centering to a person can help them to deal with their trauma that's been stored. Okay, I told you about the roller ball, the diffuser, breathing it in, where to put it. There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yes. So the first night that I put it in a roller ball and I rolled it on Aaron, I didn't tell him what I was putting on him. Okay, maybe he won't watch this. Sometimes I share things and I don't know if it's approved or not. But I rolled it on him and he said, he got kind of irritated and barky at the kids. It was bedtime, and he said, "What did you put on me?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Was it an irritating oil?" So, but think about what I did. I put an oil that is known to release negative emotions on him. So yeah, it was an irritating oil. So for me, it didn't have that effect. It was calming to me. But to Aaron, who generally is affected pretty literally by oils. So if I put joy on him, he's happy. If I put inner child on him, then he's telling silly jokes and rolling around on the floor with the kids. So he like does literally what it was designed to do. So I gave him the Trauma Life and he got irritated. But that's a good sign, because it means that the trauma that's stored in his cells are going to be dealt with. And so I am going to keep putting it on him. My goal is 30 days straight to put this on us and for us to pray and ask God to deal with these traumas that have affected us, whether we know it or not, so that we can move forward. And so what are the things that you need to work on? Things that happened at some point during your life that were traumatic to you that you need to work on. And how are you going to do that? You need a game plan. So do you need to go find a therapist? Because if you do, go do it. Don't be prideful. Go and deal with your junk so that you can live the life God intended for you. Okay? If you need to start exercising, get out there. You know, pull up YouTube and find some yoga videos, or do a walking video in your living room when it's raining outside. But start moving your body so that your body can start processing. We know that muscle has memory, so why wouldn't other things be held in our body too? And then essential oils. God gave us these amazing gifts that are so underutilized. And so I only talk about Young Living because it's the brand that I trust, and I know that many other companies adulterate and they don't do things right, but I trust that Young Living not only gets the oils from the source that's good, because we do it, we grow it, and distills it and cares for it, but we also have a founder who puts together oil blends that have amazing properties that do things like help release trauma, okay? So I'm going to be teaching a class 2 weeks from tonight. And so I'll do a short little intro with my emotions and essential oils like I usually do on Thursday nights. But then if you'll check out, and I'll put a post on my page, but I'd love for you all to join, and we'll talk about specifics and why essential oils help us with our traumas. So I love you guys, I really do. That's why I jump on here and share. These oils have had an amazing impact in my life, and I want you to have the same release that I've had. All right, love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.